next.
Woo!
Come on, Deuce.
Okay, I never told you the one when I woke up in a multi-million-dollar condo in Miami. A woman entered the room in the morning and handed me a cup of yogurt and said, "Breakfast is served, you earned it." And I never told you the one where I was held up at gunpoint by the police in Washington, D.C. because it turned out that I was parking too close to Dick Cheney's house. But I want to tell you the one about me, the man, and the rooftop. There I was, in the middle of the rooftop. And there he was standing on the ledge somewhere. There. Right, okay. Half of killing yourself is actually being able to accomplish it. I would assume the other half is the meaning behind it or the intent. Defiance, non-compliance, dislike and sobriety heightened by the dry taste of tragedy and only suffice with self-inflicted violence. How I got to the rooftop, I'll tell you some other time. But I was there. There he stood, straight as the building beneath him, with the toes of his shoes hanging off the edge, kissing the wind, wisping wherever the weather would have it or want. Every 8 seconds or so, the wind would kick, twist, and redirect too quick for his reflexes not to submit, in some flailing of limbs all over the place. And looked as if he were managing a goddamn imaginary hula hoop. Poor bastard. It was almost as if the wind were telling him to hurry up and get along with it. In a sad irony, it was the same wind that was drying the tears slipping away from his face, sniveling pittily betwixt grief and the planet's lack of sympathy. I shouted, "Hey, I'm not interested in the why or the what. I just came here for the who. I don't want to know your name. I want to know what's in it, or at least what's left of it. All the cracks, the crevices, the imperfections, everything you'd consider to be a mess of a mess that's evidence leading up to whatever this is, a detriment, or perhaps negatives impregnating the big picture. You don't need to say anything because from where you're standing, it already says enough. I'm not new here. I found friends flaying forearms or fornicating with an overfill of pills, or them finding themselves finding a firearm to fill an empty chamber with hopes to fulfill an empty feeling. But this, standing here for minutes on end with an audience, it's just a spectacle, don't you think? I will say, the only reason why you're feeling something right now is because it stings, like madness. And most likely for one of the following reasons. You never played to win. You played not to lose. You never stood in front of the dodgeball to catch it for fear that you would get out. So you sandbagged your way to the last man standing. You gave her your time, but you never gave her your heart. You risked nothing, and you liked it. You marveled at bodies of water, but you swam too close to the beach. You held your imagination by a leash for fear that you lose your footing. You dreamt as far as your cubicle let you. Mitigating danger only to be favored by a thin layer of green paper and brief sighs of relief. Putting off the real question for later. I'm not asking who's your savior. I'm asking you, where is your anger? Where's your rage? For every moment that you let go to waste, for every opportunity that you let fall to disclaimer, for every time you felt like you were standing at the same exact edge, but you didn't make a move because you didn't want to get hurt. When you spend a lifetime of apathy feeling nothing, trust me, you will die just to feel something. And just before that sidewalk slams your solar plexus into your spine, I'm hoping at least one of these words hits you harder. My friend, welcome to the madness, where I've pitched my tent and stabbed my flag into the ground a long time ago. This is a habitat, not a place for jumping from. The rooftop is where we live, and the rationale is what we breathe. But you must find a way to exhale sense back into the world because it needs you to. It's not my place to judge the direction that you take your next step, so I will not. Hence, it is my place to tell you that there has never been a moment that you have existed that you haven't mattered. You always have, and you always will. Nice. Yeah, jeez. I guess I'm next. Let's go.